I'm out of space. They addicted, it's like crack. I get the QB to set. See me, I fuck up the pack. So that bitch, I fuck up the plate. Bad bitches all in my way. Bad bitches all in my face. Bad bitches all in my face.
I forgot the words of my own song. That's crazy.
I'm out of space.
Hold on.
I smoke it on gas.
Shout that shit. She a cut but big bunda. And her brain is like a tumor. Shout it once. You know I'm a kitty with my turn to a
might just turn to a banker. This song is a banger. Shout that she taught me, then I'm gon' thank her. Tell me text her, I ain't even gon' think of her. These hoes, they off of the street. If you suck on my dick, be the street. She a vamp, yeah, she suck like a leech. I'm a champ, I'ma finish top 3. They pay attention when they
I'm gonna do this, I'm messed up.
They addicted, it's like crack. I get the
Nah, for real, top 3. Alright, let's get straight to this video. Like I said, we raw and unedited over here, or raw and uncut, you feel me? We don't do too much editing over here, even though I messed up when I said 3. I put up 2. I'm keeping that in because I meant to do this, but you heard what I said and you seen what I did. Basically, if you like the content that we dropping over here, you know what to do. If you don't, you know what to do. This right here, we're finna get into a video. This is a Poetic Flacco video. I have been tuned in with this case a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean I feel like I know generally what's going on. I know that it's an artist named David. He had a girlfriend that was not of age, and she died somehow. And they found her body in a Tesla. His Tesla at that. And they're trying to say that he didn't do it, or of course, that's kind of the whole point of going to court. But somehow, some way, he didn't get arrested. Like, he was free as he was doing, like, all this was going on. So this title is David Can Explain His Way Out of This One. And in my opinion, he shouldn't have been able to explain his way out of any of it. Realistically, however, we're here. So we're finna just jump straight into this video with no further ado. Like I said, man, if you like the content, you like what you see, you know what to do. If you don't, you know what to do. But let's get straight into it. No further ado. Hello?
There's only so many times I could say this David situation just keeps getting worse. I feel like with this new update, the only thing left to say is, why is this man not in jail yet? Why is LAPD dragging their feet? How do we not have enough yet to lock David up? I feel like at this point it's pretty clear, like who killed Celeste. It's pretty clear what the plans was for Celeste.
The DA, clearly she thinks David did this, but there were more than one or more than 2 people who had some knowledge of it. A circle around David knew various things. The DA is closing in on somebody, and I believe 2 people who are very close to David, the singer who is a suspect in the murder of Celeste Rivas.
Yeah, I have no hope whatsoever in this investigation. We've been hearing the DA is on his tail since about week 2. And what's happened since week 2? David has been around the world. David has been chilling. David has managed to turn over all his properties to his mother names.
That's what I was going to say. That's another thing. I think the house that it originally happened in, he no longer lives there. And like, I don't know, bro. It's just, it's weird. Because like, realistically, if I don't know. Because like I said, I'm not too deep into the court. But I personally feel like that he shouldn't be free. He shouldn't be on tour. He shouldn't be doing anything like that right now. My nigga. Normally, the way I feel like it normally works, if you're a suspect of something and like you have a direct link to this person, you're typically sitting down until they prove that you weren't, you know what I'm saying, the person that did it, and or you get bond or something like that. Like, I don't think he's even been to jail for this situation. Like,
David has had ample time to prepare his defense. So we have no faith in this whatsoever. LAPD is a freaking joke. Now, there's an update on this case. Now, the update itself just makes me realize why I don't have no faith in LAPD whatsoever. Because this update, if it was anywhere else, is pretty damaging and will get that person in cuffs. But because it's LAPD and they're incompetent nincompoops, nothing is going to happen to David whatsoever. The private investigator, Steve, that was hired by the house owner, he let us know a while ago that when he was initially hired, he was hired after LAPD did their raid. And he showed up to the house and he found a treasure trove of information and evidence that LAPD didn't take with them when they conducted their search warrant. and they never
And
came
that's
back to
crazy.
take these items away, even though they knew these items were there. They found it during their raids. They quote unquote took pictures of it, but they never seized it into evidence whatsoever, and he couldn't understand why. Well, it looks like we finally figured out what.
So what you're saying is they really don't care. To sum it up, like that's what you're saying, because they're locking niggas up for, well, not in LA, of course, but niggas is getting locked up for weed, my nigga. Like this is a murder, bro. Like LAPD need to take this more serious. I feel like I don't know what's going on with them boys over there.
That was and what the treasure trove of evidence is. And it didn't come from LAPD or the DA. It came from the private investigator who
Which is even
spitefully
crazier.
released it because LAPD, instead of going after David, they've been going after him. They've been subpoenaing him. They've been trying to hold him in contempt of court. They've been trying to jail him and arrest him
Really?
because he's been updating the public on information. They even did the same thing to the medical examiner office, where their job is to provide transparency to the public. They have put a muzzle on a medical examiner office. Now they're going after the private investigator who's been trying to help get David locked up. So he just said, F it, bro. All right, if y'all going to come after me, I'm going to release the information. So we finally know exactly what LAPD didn't feel like was necessary to take. And we do know a search warrant, you can only take certain things, but they still have the option to go ahead and get another search warrant and come back and get, pretty damning evidence from my perspective in this David case. In a Twitter post, Steve writes, although my words have been misquoted by some, what I actually said about certain items found at the Doheny address was that they were items you would expect to find on a farm rather than a home in the Hollywood Hills. Doheny address, if you
Barbecue chicken alert! Barbecue chicken alert!
guys are not familiar, that's the address that the Tesla was found at. Also, David's primary residence in LA. One of those items was a burn cage incinerator. Why was a burn cage at a private residence? Well, that's the question we're all wondering. So, LAPD did
a burn cage incinerator. Nigga. That is insane.
the
All right,
raid
bro, let's
or
rock
did like
with
a
it.
search warrant of the home. They found a burn cage in a home where a dead body was found in a Tesla outside, and they thought, this is not important. Let's forget about this.
But
right? And they never took it.
with that
into
also
evidence.
being said, though, because I don't believe that they said that the body was burned. I don't remember ever hearing that. I remember them saying that it was decomposed and stuff like that. But you feel me? Because like a burnt body compared to a decomposed body, that's two different things, bro. Like they were saying like there was limbs, da 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 da. So it's like there's no way, right?
Whatsoever. So one of those items that were found was a burn cage incinerator advertised to burn at 1600 degrees.
Sheesh.
Human cremations are typically performed at approximately 1400 degrees. An incinerator is not legal to use within city limits and serves no legitimate purpose at a residential property in the Hollywood Hills. Some will argue that this item was intended as a prop for a music video. Cut it out, bruh. Cut it out, man.
See, and like that's kind of what they've been doing with this whole case, bro. They're like minimizing everything, and just because he makes music, I guess, bro. Like, that's wild. Let's throw this nigga under the jail, man. Clink clink. Let's let this nigga hear the doors. What are we talking about?
Evil sick.
He should be arrested alone just for the fact that she was, you feel me? You feel me? Like, what are we talking about?
Maniacal Fs were planning to cremate this little girl's body, bro. Yeah, they were just waiting for the right time to take that body out, cremate it, and get it out of here, bro. And to me, that was going to be the last stage of this murder cover-up. Because once you cremate the body, like
yeah, you just know you can do it.
Like
yeah.
she's already been missing for like a year. Parents don't really seem too concerned about locating her. You cremate the body, man, bro. You
You're
good.
good.
Because
Yeah,
they don't really
literally.
feel like they really have any messages that are incriminating. They don't really feel like they have any text calls, nothing at all. And the police got the body, and they still can't piece together this murder mystery. If you would have cremated her, it would have been over with, bro.
Man.
All right, it's done. Now, yeah, some will argue this item was intended as a prop for a video. If that were the case, it raises several obvious questions. Why do a 55-pound burn cage be delivered to a private residence instead of directly to a prop designer or production house? Why would it be ordered before departing on an extended world tour? And why was it never used in any video production? It is also important to note that there were additional items present that could be used in conjunction with the burn cage. What those items were, well, we would never know. That's because LAPD has a muzzle on Steve. To be very clear, this burn cage was not used. It was still new and in the box. However, given the Celeste Hernandez remains were ultimately found in a Tesla trunk, the presence of an incinerator at the same residence associated with the vehicle necessarily raises questions about intent. The burn cage was not taken during the search warrant, and because it was not used, it appears it's not of importance to any possible criminal investigation. But we think it's important context, even if not criminal. The burn cage and other related items were delivered to the residence under a false name. Although, come on, bro. Come
on. Like you said, come on, bro. Like, it's right there. Like, everything you need is right there, but due to the fact, I guess, since it wasn't actually used, there's nothing they can do with that. And that's crazy because like I said, let's go back to the drug thing, right? There's people that get hit with intent to sell, and like I mean, whatever. Like, if you got 8 pounds, like, it is what it is. But how are you going to tell me what I was finna do when you didn't catch me in the act? However, when something like this is right here in front of you, you just brush under the rug like it don't matter. That's weird. That's weird. That's crazy.
on, son. Come on.
That's crazy.
The burn cage was delivered under a false name, so there's no ties to David.
Literally.
They found it, man, cut it out, bruh. Although the deliveries were accepted at the property, attached as a photograph, he does show the burn cage in the box. And apparently this right here is what it will look like. The Law and Crime YouTube channel did an interview with a detective and a law enforcement instructor, whatever that means. And even he seems pretty bewildered and confused as to why the burn cage was not an interest to LAPD. He would explain that even though the search warrant was not for the burn cage and it was very specific, they could have very easily went back and got a piggyback warrant the same day and come back and get the burn cage. So them choosing not to get the burn cage after about 3 months is kind of, confusing and incompetent.
I cannot think of a legitimate, innocent reason why a burn cage would be received at a private residence.
I don't think anybody can, Matthew, but LAPD.
Heck no.
Why it would be ordered?
Because you gotta understand, bro. No matter how much, like, he's a millionaire. My nigga, you probably have a fire pit outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can order a grill. You don't need to cook anything at 1600 degrees. Like, if a body, like, if it's, I'm not gonna say common knowledge, everybody don't know that it's $1,400 or 1400 degrees to do a cremation, and this clearly says that this goes up to 1600. My nigga, you not cooking s'mores on that. You not cooking no burger on that. That bitch gonna still be bleeding. You feel me? So it's like you can't cook nothing using this device. Yeah, alright. We was using it for a music video.
Name.
Bro, you could have threw a bunch of pallet sticks and lit them on fire.
Start there. Keep your thought. Okay. The only thing I would say is about a false name. If he's a celebrity, he doesn't want people knowing that he's staying there. Thoughts?
Cool.
Fair enough.
Sounds good.
If he's got a bunch of people that he's working with because he intends to use this as part of a concert tour, as part of a video, he's got a whole staff of people that can order something for him. I don't understand why he would need to do it under an assumed name. But your point is well taken. That could be an innocent explanation. But again, to Steve's points, if that is indeed the intent for this item, why is it delivered to a private residence? Why is it not with him on tour? Why is it not taken to some location to be used for some kind of a video? That said, I also can't think of a good reason why LAPD didn't seize this item. I mean, if you're conducting an investigation into a body found in the trunk of a car. One of your working theories has got to be that this body was placed there in order to move it from the scene where the death occurred and then transport it to some third location to conceal it or dispose of it.
Isn't there like two crimes being investigated at the same time? One, the crime of murder or homicide, because they're now coming around to the idea that Celeste was murdered, that she didn't, just overdosed and moved herself to the trunk of a freaking Tesla. But there's also, if murder didn't happen here, there's also abuse of a corpse, desecration of human remains. Those are other crimes that are being investigated.
See, and like I said, I don't know all that. I didn't even know all of this. So it's like, yeah, LAPD is a joke, bro. That's crazy.
You would probably be closer to that once you find out.
I ain't gonna lie, they a lot harder than this on GTA. You feel me? Like, kinda. You know, when they get 5 stars, they throw the chopper out there, they gonna watch over me. Meanwhile, they got, cuz like I said, he's not even in jail. This nigga was on a war tour. That's crazy, bro.
Who ordered
That's crazy.
The burn cage? Because the person who ordered the burn cage is more than likely the person who either David
connected or knows about it, because there's two people.
If they're helping David, then they were probably the person
just as
who
bad
moved the corpse, who abused the corpse, who desecrated the human remains. And you could bring them in on some charges and make them turn against David. But if you have no interest in the burn cage, if you have no interest in who would want to order that burn cage or who ordered that burn cage, since it wasn't ordered in David's name, you can find out who did that fake name belong to, who ordered it, why did they order it. Those are things that I think you would want to bring the burn cage and have it into evidence, right? Because let's just say they take a picture. Again, I'm not a lawyer here, people, but they take a picture and they're not in possession of the actual burn cage. Couldn't, they just say, hey, that's a prop. Hey, like what was inside the burn cage was not the actual burn cage. It was something, right? Like if you don't have an actual picture of the actual burn cage or in possession of it, it's just absurd and it's insane. And I would think that they'll be trying to keep in possession whatever evidence they have.
Literally.
Especially when you take into consideration, David and his friends are actively going out of their way to conceal and hide information and removing all digital traces as we speak. Key example of this is with this dude here called Neil the Asian. This is one of like David homies. He been scrubbing his social media, bruh. He done scrubbed everything. If you go to his social media, there are huge gaps of posts that he has taken down, things that he has removed. And you want to ask yourself why. Like, if you have nothing to hide, why are you taking certain things down? And then come to find out, if you, like, go through his page, well, these are no longer there, I believe. But you see him, bro, he's posing and he's partying with Celeste. Neo is a grown man. Celeste in this picture, I believe, was about, 13 years old? So he's chilling and having a good old time with Celeste. He's partying with Celeste. And it's like, yo, like, why are you guys hanging out with a 13-year-old? Where is her parents? Now, if this is a man who was with David often on a routine basis, almost daily, one of David right-hand mans, who was around Celeste when David was very careful, or who he brought Celeste around, very careful on being seen with Celeste, especially towards the latter part of her life.
It's easy to see him doing something.
Then, bro, this man, like, removing things from his social media, hiding things, trying to conceal things.
Red flag.
That's very important.
Absolutely.
Right? And if these people are going out of their way to hide certain things, he was, like, really cool with Celeste as well. Really cool. Right? So if he's going out of his way to hide certain things and to conceal certain things, then shouldn't y'all also be, like, as proactive as them into revealing
call me
or
Mario
uncovering
Kart the way
certain
I
things, or trying to hold and be like, listen, I feel like, there should be like hoarding evidence at this point, bruh. Whatever could be seen as evidence, you hoard it, bruh. Because you don't know.
But they're not doing that because it seems like like I said, they don't care, bro. And I don't understand what it is. Like, because I don't listen to David's music. I've never listened to him on my own time ever in my life. And I don't even know if I've heard any of it, like on, say, TikTok. Like, sometimes you'll hear it, you be like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. I can't tell you a single song that I've heard by this man. But, like, with that being said, he must be connected to some people, bro, that want him to just flourish in life or whatever it is, because there's no reason this man should still be free, bro. There's no way. Oh, and that's another thing. I do know he had one song. I don't know what it was, like, I don't know. It was something homicide. Something. But like the words, because I want to say there was a video where he was like breaking down the words and kind of like cross-referencing from the situation that happened to the lyrics. And it's like, how much, like, you feel me? Like, how much more do you need for real? Like, it's in front of you, G. You just don't care.
Not, especially when they're being proactive. So this dweeb came back on Instagram to explain why he's
probably gonna read it. I was
things from his Instagram and moving hella shady and hella suspicious. And he writes, I mean, eventually I'm gonna say something, but I kind of hate forcing myself into solitude because people on the internet assume the worst in people and will make up legit anything out of nothing. So eventually I'll say something when I'm ready. Love all the real people that have been kind to me and don't make false assumptions. Bro, it's not really hard to explain. Hey, bro,
I didn't do anything.
He was hanging out with this chick. They did have an intimate relationship. David is an pedophile, right? Like, David is R. Kelly Jr. Lock him up. It's not really hard, bro. You should be on the right side of things, especially in this time when you know David about to get arrested. You know. Rather it takes 5, 10, 20, 30, because there's no statute of limitations on murder, buddy. You know things is crumbling down. Turn on this man and say everything you know. Because I'm sure somebody who was around Celeste and dated, I'm sure you know when Celeste passed away. I'm sure you know how Celeste.
Even if he does that, if he's an accessory to it, then he's going to jail too. So it's like, it makes sense on why he wouldn't want to say anything, especially if he does know. Because, like, bro, like, not only is he going to jail or prison, fuck jail, he's going to prison, I'm going to prison, and you know what I'm saying? Like, especially if he has something to do with it. If he has something to do with it, he's not going to come out and be like, yeah, David did it all. Because the second that he does that, then David's going to tell on him for his involvement, and it's over with. Both these niggas is in prison for life.
Pass away. I'm sure you know why Celeste was put in that trunk. Because David will have to explain to you guys why Celeste ain't showing up no more and why she's missing.
And if you're looking at the possibility that somebody is trying to dispose of a body, and you search the residence of a person of interest in that case, and you find what is essentially a home crematorium, why don't you take that? I know that when you're serving a search warrant, you can only seize the things that the court authorized you to seize and that you told the court you expected to find there. I'm sure nobody expected to find this item there. But what you do in a search warrant when you find something evidentiary that was
tell somebody and you
unexpected
come back.
is you write what's called a piggyback warrant. It's a simple addendum where you say, hey, judge, while serving that search warrant that you issued, we found this other thing. We think it's evidence. We'd like to seize that too. It's a typical one-page addendum that's tacked onto your warrant. I've never seen a judge not sign one of those, and I don't know why that wasn't done in this case.
Because LAPD are incompetent nincompoops. If you guys believe this David case is gonna get solved anytime soon, good luck.
Nah, but like you said, bro, they don't care. They're nincompoops. You know what I'm saying? And like with that being said, bro, if you're easily, I'm not gonna say easily, but if there's like a situation at hand where you committed a crime and literally it's right there, bro. Like, take it. You feel me? Like, if you would have came back, say this goes to court and there's a jury, that matters. Stuff like that matters, bro, because even if it wasn't necessarily for that, it's going to piece certain things together and it's going to make it make more sense. And it's like, okay, there's actually a really good chance that he was finna use that for this. You feel me? And it's like, yeah, you could say it was for a video, da-da-da-da. But like now leaving it out, you can't even bring this into court. There's nothing to bring into court because they didn't, you feel me, put this in there. And to me, that's crucial. But if you like the content, you know what to do. If you don't, you know what to do. But if you made it this far, I think you like the content. So go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for the next one.